I was actually having an epiphany. I was remembering time because it was lost somehow.
It was said to me, this is what was said to me. You're not building this from logic, you're building this from knowing, and that's why it won't look like anything you've seen or done before.
Yeah, dude, because it's completely backwards, dude.
She goes, this is what it says. This feels right, but I can't fully explain it. I know this is different, but I don't know how. I feel pulled, but I have no idea.
Dude, we're just noticing that
Do you trust what you're feeling even before it's proven?
yeah, the structure comes before the concept
Usually.
right now. You know, like it's really weird. You know what I'm saying? If you're on a spiritual path, you're realizing a great many things, right? You know, about yourself, about others, about your life experience, about your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch of shit going on in the collective right now. We're gonna pull on it, but there's a plethora of knowledge out there, people. You know what I'm saying? That is being given to us by God, Source, Creator. You know, God of your direction. You know, Spirit of your direction. Whatever, who you might be working with right now, what you believe in. It's all they're all headed to the same place, is what they just said. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is a culmination of that realization. Is also what Spirit just said. So, you know, it's funny how humanity has been living backwards for so long that they don't know what forward movement looks like. You know what I'm saying? We have an idea or we have a conception. We usually follow in somebody else's footsteps. We don't necessarily, you know, do the whole league of our own. You know, a lot of people settle. They have no drive. They have no ambition. And they're bound by their limitations because that's all their mind was able to absorb, only because it was presented to them over and over again, like watching a fucking movie. You know, and I believe a lot of people are realizing that right now. That their life is a movie, it's a drama and a comedy. And there's sad moments, there's horrific moments, there's terrifying moments, and there's beautiful moments, and happiness moments, and moments of joy, and moments of love, all simultaneously compacted into one life, regardless of how many years have you been here, right? And this is all coming to a culmination of what the spiritual understanding it actually is, and what God had originally intended for us a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Which is not this, right? And I believe that clarity and the realization of that clarity is something that we're all kind of like still processing, because now your head's screwed on right, but everything looks wrong, right? And now we have to look at that, you know? And I'm not going to say by force, but it's almost you feel forced to do so, because it's like, okay, well, we talked about one direction, you know, a while ago, that a lot of you were going to be on this journey or this path to where you were going to have to walk where no one else has walked before, or walk where few have. I feel like this is more of a path where a lot of people are walking where they've never walked before, and they're scared shitless of what they're doing because they don't have no idea what they're doing, but they're somehow doing it, right? And this is that realization that's happening. And this takes me back to the 4 years ago when I first started in this place, and when I first started working with Stella. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing it, and it's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really a question of whether you believe it or not. It's more so, are you aware that it's happening, right? So that this takes the player out of the fucking game that you're playing with life, and fucking lets you see it for yourself, which is also a beautiful combination, is what Spirit just said. You know what I'm saying? Because then you get to see how it actualizes in your life by yourself. And then you realize that either A, you need to get your shit in line, you need to pay attention, or you need help. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't understand these things, you're on a new level. And a lot of these things are really confusing and can put you in a direction where you're doing the same shit all over again, just in a different way, thinking that you're doing it. You're doing it right. You know what I'm saying? When in actuality, you're missing the mark, because you should be pivoting left instead of where you're at right now, right? And this is what this energy has a representation of right now, you know? So life lessons are upon us, you know, every day, but we don't have to be the sacrificial lamb to understand those things, right? We don't have to kill ourselves or die consistently somehow, or go through an ego death to be able to process things for what we really, really should know, or should trust in one way or another, you know? And I feel like with this message, there's a burden that is ongoing in people's lives that they are unaware of, that they're carrying like a sack of meat, either on their backs or their gut, you know? So there's a heaviness associated with the lower chakra system right now. They're using the root as an example in how you may or may not be rooted or grounded and aware of what's happening to you right now, because this is a shift, is what Spirit is saying. You are moving, you are transitioning. You are actually kind of like feeling the differences in energy now, to where you have the ability to perceive that things have moved somehow, right? It's not necessarily a feeling under your feet, is what Spirit is saying. It's like the wind just all of a sudden pops up out of nowhere and moves you real quick. Or you feel that movement, or you get cold all of a sudden, or you feel like you have ascension symptoms. If you are aware of what those things mean, this is letting you know not only of a higher calling and a higher dimension or a higher access and higher communication, it's telling you to move. It's telling you maybe you should go this way. It's telling you to consider your options of where you're at right now versus where you would like to be, and whether you want to exercise and have confidence and be courageous and not embrace cowardice to fulfill that demand, you know what I'm saying, that you've asked to be given by the universe. And here we are, right? Divine direction is what they also say. So I almost hear like a lot of people, it's like, hey, dude, if you're going through something right now, you're not sad. What you are is emotional, and you're processing those emotions to come to a deliberation of what those emotions actually mean to you. I don't know who need to hear that, but somebody needs to figure that out for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're processing all these heavy emotions, and you're under heavy burden, you know, you feel the stomach aches and pains, you're going on. This is your soul calling to you. This is asking you to take another direction, or possibly even another perspective on what you're looking at right now, because everything's upside down and backwards, and it's no longer the same, right? We talked about this already, you know? So check your mind as the mind checks you, because it's easy to forget these things when you're trying to remember who the fuck you really are, you know? And that's the easiest way to say it. You know what I'm saying? We should be proud of who we are. We should be proud to embrace those things about our own self, our sovereign being, our sovereign self, what we actually are divinely, instead of what humanity labels as the perfect human being, right? We know that to be a fallacy now. And I believe we're all on the direction of discovering what that actually is, and what representation of what we are that is building, that is growing from within to become without. A lot of us are creating a very, very new aspect of ourselves and a reality that we cannot comprehend, because we don't know the meaning behind it, or what or why, right? So it's almost like you have to stop asking questions, and you have to embrace the moment, or be whatever it is that you need to be in right now, because that's the most important thing to be in. And that's why it's carrying you. That's why it's calling you. That's why it's asking you. That's why it's getting you to meditate. It's getting you to pay attention. It's getting you to honor that, the sacred self, your altar space, more love, more compassion, more willingness to open your hand than close it, more willingness to open your heart than close it. You know what I'm saying? But from a place of perspective and understanding that nothing can fuck with you, nothing can kill you, unless you allow it in this, for this message. You know what I'm saying? That if you're suffering from health issues, that's a completely different story. But what I've come to realize on my experience is a lot of our health issues are emanating for our own lack of awareness of our body, and what our body says to us and teaches us and asks us to be in alignment with. You know what I'm saying? This is where diseases come from. Diseases, they are one and the same. It's an energetic indifference in your biology that is causing you to manifest these things some way or somehow. Not only to get you to pay attention and possibly do something about it, but to make you more aware of the body within, the inner you, which is also you, and you're connected to it. It's not just this thinking, feeling, interpretation device. It's not a fucking robot. It's an organic mechanism that has a biofeedback that is connected to our consciousness, that is directly related to everything around us. And we cannot be ignorant to those things now. And this is what it's calling and telling us. You know what I'm saying? We're communicating with a higher dimensional, higher awareness, higher clarified being. You know, the one, the main organism, the source. A lot of you are connected to it, not realizing that these little pot shots that you think that you're taking is the universe calling you. You know, and when you turn around and stop pointing the finger and you actually look to what's really calling you, you start to find out those things. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of trust going on that we have to have for ourselves right now, and a level of faith that you've never had before, because you don't know what faith means, right? It's different to everyone, but it's also a vibrational frequency that is the gift of compassion that you also receive with it, and that's how you know what it is, right? So Pay attention to what's really happening. Pay attention to what's really matters. Pay attention to what's really calling for you. Pay attention to the responsibilities that need to be had that haven't been had before, or that have been on the back burner for too long. I believe a lot of people are settling these things right now. There's shit you've been putting off that you really need to do. And you really need to come to a logical sense of why you keep comforting yourself or why you keep getting distracted from those things. Pay attention to what's happening right now. Listen to this message. Does it resonate with your soul? Does it vibrate your being? Does it confirm in you somehow? And that's how you know this is meant for you. Okay? There's no more fallacies. Everything is true, right? But you have to know you to understand that and see that for yourself and experience the divinity within, because it's also calling you. The awareness or the mind that thinks that it's actually separate from it, and it thinks that it's something else. Salah. So they're pointing out the moon. And of course, it is April 1st. You know what I'm saying? This is Fool's Day. You know what I'm saying? April Fool's Day. Unfortunately, you know, this is how they said it. But it's the fool energy. If you haven't listened to this message before, you haven't heard us talk before, you know that you're on another level. That you're seeing things for what they are now, more so than what they're not. But when you see the things that they're not, it might displease you because of what you believed it to be true. You know what I'm saying? A lot of boundaries are getting undone is what they're also saying here with this message. And this is spirit-led and spirit-fed. They want you to know that, you know, that these things are coming undone because everything else is coming undone, and we're acting accordingly in that. You know what I'm saying? No one's safe from being undone. It's the things that are undone that are going to save you. You know what I'm saying? That are going to free you from boundaries, that are going to free you from limitations, that are going to free you from this battle that everybody's having, or this war that everybody's having right now with themselves. Because as within, so without. You know, we feel the chaos energy, we can feel the distortion, we can also feel the fire, and we know that something else is going on that we can't explain, and this is why we're all here talking about it, right? It's for you to know and for you to understand, right? We're experiencing these things right here, right now, as we're talking, and your awareness of the moment is key, because it's the now. It always has been, it will ever be now. And the more present we become with that awareness that we're all talking about right now, the more present we become with our destiny, what we're actually meant to be, or what we have the courage or the confidence to overcome and become something more. Take it up a notch, get into the next level, climb that next step in the ladder, not just hang out in a impoverished mindset like everybody else because they're unaware of what's actually happening to them, and they can empower themselves too by having these realizations and listening to what's being spoken right now. You know what I'm saying? We all benefit from what is true. You know what I'm saying? We benefit from the authenticity of the truth because it's a vibration, it's a frequency. It purifies us. It gets us to see what we don't want to see, but also sheds lights on it's simultaneously shedding light on the things that we do not see. You know what I'm saying? It is joy, it is happiness from these realizations. Some of them, we have to have humility because some of them are really painful, or we don't want to fucking deal with them, right? This could be you. This could be not you. You could have overcome this shit. You could be still going through it right now. I'm going to be honest with you. But let's be real for a second, fam. One of the reasons that you're going through what you're going through is because it's meant to be. It's meant to happen. And the more you fight that, the more you resist that, the more you resist what you're meant to be, where you're meant to be at, what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like these are options to consider, but this is the clarity that allows you to have these profound questions, because when you come from this perspective, you start asking these questions and you start entraining and embodying this energy, it comes to you. You know what I'm saying? And you get the truth too, but you got to know how to do you, boo, is what they just said. You know, you got to do that first. The work. The awareness of what they're teaching you, what they're telling you, what is coming in divinely through you, how you interact with your community, how you interact with your kin, how you interact with your higher self. All those things to be true. You know what I'm saying? All those things to be discovered in one way or another. Because again, along the way, and even up to this point, we realized that there is another fallacy that is being shedded from our being. Whether it's the illusion of you or the illusion of self or the illusion of everything else around you. It's all happening right here, right now. This is what this energy represents, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just you guys are right above the fire and you're not cooking. You could be cooking, or you could be burning, or you could be enjoying yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's warm there on the level that you've acclimated to, instead of burning your feet at the bottom. You know, and this is the metaphor that they used. You know what I'm saying? They also say the miserable you. That's not the aspect of you. That's not your higher self. That has nothing to do with you, to be honest with you. Those are the things that you're meant to review, that you are no longer. But if you resonate with them, or you emotionally grasp onto them because you're afraid of the memory, or you just don't want that memory, then you continuously perpetuate that memory. It doesn't matter. It comes back to you eventually. You know, so when you see that clearly for what it is, and again, clarity, Gemini fam, this is where we're at. When you have this kind of clarity, all your decisions become divine ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the spot, you know? And we learn and we grow and we motivate and we inspire, because we are inspired, we are motivated, and we are learning and we are growing, and we have more patience for one another, and we stop labeling each other as your age, you did this, you didn't do that, oh, how could you know? You know what I'm saying? And stop challenging and competing with each other, and undergo the unification and the natural process of that unification that is going on right now. And this is what the energy represents. So, you know, it's whether you want to embrace what it is that you're meant to embrace or not at this time. You know, some of you will engage in progress. Some of you will actually ask for it now. Some of you will say yes to progress, but you're all evolving. You can go kicking or screaming, or you can get on board and get ahead of the curve and learn how to ride the board, you know, especially when the waves get rough. And I think this is really important for people, you know, and this is why we do Soul Counsel. This is why we have mentorship. This is why we have many services, your astrology mapping between the past, present, now. You know what I'm saying? We have all these services available so that way you become more self-aware of what it is that is important to you, what you're meant to be, what you're meant to do, whether you're stuck or not. You know what I'm saying? These things are true. There's a divine blueprint to each and every one of you. And understanding that divine blueprint will benefit you, especially when you are learning architecture and the blueprints of the self, and how our emotions and our energy has been controlled by something else that is not necessarily what we're meant to be or what we naturally are. You know, you've all been manipulated somehow. You know what that fucking feels like. Well, here's the truth. The truth doesn't manipulate you. But it's scared to have faith in it, right? Because you don't know what faith actually is. So it's kind of discouraging at the same time, but if you follow it long enough and you don't give up, I guarantee you it'll show you everything it's worth. And that's why we're here. You know, you can either receive a reading from us today. You know, it's a donation-based reading. You don't have to we're not putting a price on the donation. The link is in the bio. Just type down how you donated it. Or you can consult with us, whether you feel like you need a shamanic journey, meditation help, soul counsel, energy healing, sound healing, teaching, healing, certification practices that we also have that are incorporated with Womb of the Ancient Sun, that you're more than welcome to engage in to take that next level healer stuff up, because we're all changing, man. Everything is becoming different, and the modalities that we're practicing are evolving at an astronomical rate. So if you guys are in the biz, man, just know that everything's shifting and you have to shift with it. You know what I'm saying? And we should know better of these things. We should be more informed of these things, and we should hold ourselves accountable to commit to the discipline of understanding these things for ourselves. You know, now that it's been all laid out and the blueprint is out in the open, now you guys can start seeing it for what it is. If you need help, you can reach out to us. You can ask questions. You can get a reading here. You know what I'm saying? If this resonates with you, put it in the comments. If you have questions here, you can put that in the comments too, and I'll answer it to the best of our ability. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for listening. We really appreciate you. Anybody got anything to say? There you go. Because it should be. Because this is an extremely uplifting time for many. We are experiencing a rebirth, a regeneration, a reorchestration and reorganization of society as we know it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think that this is fucking, oh yeah, this is just headed somewhere south, right? No, this is headed north. It all depends on your perspective. If you keep looking south, then that's all you'll ever see. But when you choose to point to the North Star instead, the light shows you everything that hasn't been illuminated yet. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a very beautiful perspective on what's happening to a lot of people. Pour into yourselves. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to yourself. Show yourself what love actually is by connecting to it or committing to it or getting to know it and becoming more observant of it and being more thankful of it. Seeking elders, seeking eldership, looking for your honor, contacting your ancestors, communicating with them. Because you're not the only life that you're living. There are many lives that are being lived simultaneously through you, and I believe a lot of you know that. You know, because you're compelled to do shit different, things that you've never done before, and you're like, I'm just being stupid. No, those are the ancestors calling you, homie. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that want to bring it to the present and have you give the gift of modernizing it and expressing it in your own unique way with respect to the ancestorship that is coming through you. See? You know, this is channeling, this is connecting, this is communication, this is being in flow and in consistent communication with the universe, right? With spirit, with God, with source, whichever one. You know what I'm saying? Respect to all religions or connections or the way people connect, you know? It's all coming into one thing, you know? Let's not be biased about it. You know, we can't say it's just this, because no, there are many things associated with it. You know, we have to respect and honor the 22 pathways, but we also have to respect and honor that the pathways have pathways inside of pathways and pathways too. You know, don't get lost. Stay on the main ones, you know. Christina,